Hi, everybody. Today I'd like to share with you some of my favorite mods and gameplay tips for Masterpiece, the old school classic board game by Parker Brothers. We're going to try and revive a super fun classic game here so that more people will want to play it in the future. Let me show you how. So, Masterpiece is an art auction game driven by traditional roll and move mechanics. At the end of the game, the winner is the player who amasses the most wealth in unencumbered cash and in works of art, which are liquid assets in this game. The only way to do this is to constantly buy and sell and to be competitive in auctions. The screwage factor is high because the more ways you can find to rip off other players in art money deals, the better your character will perform. I find this concept fun, great fun. I've played this over many years with tons of different people, and I like it just the way it is. But over the course of many games, we can see that there are some things about it that we can modify and adjust to fix some rather obvious shortcomings. Let's call them shortcomings, which are less than ideal design choices, I think, that become apparent after, not necessarily during gameplay. So, where to begin? Well, I think we can cover all of the key issues with a less formally structured review, which seems fitting since, after all, Masterpiece is a silly game that can't and really shouldn't be taken seriously. Honestly, it just cracks me up thinking about it. So let's take a look at the table. So when you open the box, the first thing you notice are the plain, dull, boring, uninteresting, super ugly player markers you can find in virtually all old school games of this era. So no surprises here. The first thing you want to do with plastic pawns is to throw them into a volcano. You're not going to destroy the integrity of the game or anything like that, as long as you can replace them with something better. Do you really think anybody is going to miss these things for even 5 minutes? No. So these go away. The D6 or D6s, whatever it came with, can go away too. Why? Because pawns are for chess. You're not pawns in Masterpiece. You're supposed to be crafty, cunning, charming art dealers and speculators. It's fun to immerse yourself in this mindset. And by the way, it was supposed to have clue like board game characters to play with. Did your copy come with character cards and bios? I've only seen pics of them, never got them in real life. And I wonder if these things ever shipped. Roxy Warrenson, Baron Oberlitzer, Millicent Friendly. What happened? I don't know. Looks like we'll have to improvise. So now what? Well, Team Parker Brothers to the rescue is what's up. So, introducing my favorite player aid of all time, used for virtually all 1970s era roll and move games. It's the lineup from DVD Clue in plastic mini form. Look at the colors, they're perfect. When I saw these on sale online, I knew I had to have them. They're so versatile. Get these or something similar for your older board games. No more junky plastics. Get and use cool player tokens people will want to play with. Like somebody says, you're green. Now you can say, hey, bub, that's Mr. Green to you. Now, as far as the dice go, say goodbye to D6 and hello D7. Analog one this time. Why? Because it's fun or funnier than the alternative. It's colorful, unique, weird, interesting. And besides, the track on the board is a circle. It doesn't matter what you roll in this game so much or how far you go in a single turn. The point in all of this so far is to encourage you to upgrade components in old games. If you think crappy bits and parts are going to somehow take away from the aesthetic or fun factor of your game, upgrade. You'd be surprised how much of a difference it makes. Okay, so the cardboard stock. I'm going to have to make a case for laminating here. And I know it's a pain in the butt to do it. And yeah, the painting backings are relatively sturdy, but they get passed around and handled by everybody. They're odd sized, which makes them difficult to sleeve, or maybe you can't even sleeve them, I guess. The action of clipping the hidden value cards to the backs of the paintings will slowly damage them. And far more seriously, if one of the value card backs gets blemished, stained, dog-eared, the game itself is compromised because you just know someone in your group will go, ah, that's the forgery one, or that's the $1 million card. Now I hear you saying, really? Yes, that is a thing. These are 40 years old. I made the decision to laminate them sometime in the early 1990s. It's so long ago, I have no memory of doing it. I'm just happy I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them today. Okay, so the money. Now you're saying, yeah, but show me the money. Okay, the paper money. There's a prevailing attitude these days that paper money sucks in board games. And the response is, that's an interesting hang up that apparently I don't have. You're good here. Just try and keep it organized. Okay, it speeds up gameplay. Now for the mods and gameplay adjustments. So when playing Masterpiece, there's always a funny part just after the game ends when players talk about what happened. And they say, you dirty rat, you sold me a forgery for $500,000, or I lost because I took a massive haircut on that $700,000 Van Gogh. I had to let go for $50,000. And almost always the winner says, yeah, I landed on those free money spaces a lot. That's why I won probably. And that gets annoying after a while. I think there are spaces on the track that we can adjust, like 4 or 5 of them. The ones that just give away free money and maybe a miss a turn one or something. Anyway, the spaces with no activity associated with them, that ones that seem boring and not really helpful towards the competitive goal of the game, I changed them. I made up my own spaces on MS Paint and printed them off and taped them to the board. They don't look bad. I'm no artist, that's for sure. But if I can do it, you can too if you want. I added a painting space, one you own for the next one due up for auction, sight unseen. In other words, you don't know the value of what you're getting. You only know what you're giving up. The other money giveaway spaces I turned into casinos. You can get money, but you can also lose money. The bets are resolved with a single 2d6 roll. The stakes correspond with the lower 3 denominations of the paper money. So my advice would be, if you're going to mod board game spaces, try to make them thematic as well as simple to understand and compatible with other parts of the game. Now, do I think my solution to the game-breaking money spaces is perfect? Well, not necessarily, but it's one possible idea to deal with the most irritating part of the game. So try your own ideas. It'll be better than what you get to play with out of the box. In my last gaming session, the board mods went unmentioned, actually. Nobody even questioned them. We just played Masterpiece and had tons of fun. So the set collection mod, somebody named Mick Wood posted this on BGG, and it's just a great idea. Add a simple set collection mod to Masterpiece to encourage more aggressive bidding and more interesting auctions. Here's how it works. Divide the paintings thematically into 3 categories. With the cards that came with my set, I came up with the following: 6 ladies, 8 landscapes, and 10 portraits. I put red dots on the ladies, green dots on the landscapes, and yellow dots on the portraits. So if by the end of the game a player owns a majority of the paintings in any of the 3 categories, they earn a set majority bonus. Ladies pay plus 1 million, landscapes pay plus 1.5 million, portraits plus 2 million. Ties among players eliminate any set collection reward. You have to have the most in the category to get any bonus money. Here's the cool thing though. The value of the individual paintings doesn't influence set collection payouts. So you may need a suspected forgery to complete a set, or to at least deny somebody else from completing a set. So how much is that ugly painting that's gone through everyone's hand 5 times worth to you now? Remember, we've killed off all the free money spaces. You have to be pretty clever at everything now with a modded version of Masterpiece. Just being lucky won't cut it anymore. I made this a permanent adjustment. I like it a lot. Gameplay tips. Okay, so this is a weird one, but it's worth telling because I remember it coming up in a session I played years and years ago. I was moderating a game, I was hosting a large game, lots of players, like half of them were new. And I was setting up auctions, handling cards, etc. And one guy was getting really annoyed. I could tell other people are just snickering. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. So apparently, when I was handling the paintings, my technique was so poor and sloppy that some players around the table could peep the values right before I attached them to the paintings. And this dude finally said, "Well, why don't you do it this way instead?" And I said, "Oh, that's a better idea. Sorry." Most people have the paintings face up next to the face down value cards. No, both face down so that with one sweeping motion of the hand and simultaneously attaching the plastic thing, you avoid this bad habit of lifting and flipping the cards. So that's one for all you rubbernecks and looky-loos out there infiltrating game groups. Player aids. Always use them. It's a simple game, but do download one-page rule summaries or make your own because they're very helpful to new players. At the end of the game, it also helps to have cash out sheets like this one I made. Things can get pretty chaotic because people are excited to calculate their net worth at the end. Make it easier on them with homemade invoices to fill out. You can get creative and make them look way more official and realistic than the one I created. If you have a stable group, try creating goofy incentives to keep people interested in classic titles. You'll see older games on the table over and over again that way. I create certificates and stupid cards to give to people when they win. Here's one I created on February 24th, 2018. It just says, you are awarded the Master of Masterpiece. And then it's her name on it. And then I gave it to her the next time I saw her. And she thought it was really funny. So it was worth it. And I guess I'll just share some closing thoughts on this one by citing a negative review, actually, that I found online, because the haters and the negative reviewers are so funny. Listen to this one. Extra Large Jedi writes, I'm paraphrasing now, "It's a horrible, horrible game. But it can be fun, though, if played with the right people. Something deviously funny about bluffing and sticking someone with a forgery, and then laughing about it when it becomes obvious and reading their facial expressions. Right?" Now, I argue that that right there is worth the price of admission. So it's not for everybody. But even someone who didn't like it was forced to appreciate the intangible thing going on, designed into this game. It plays on emotions, embarrassment maybe when you get ripped off big time, and it's not real. It's not real, and it still gets to everybody every time. It's so good. I can't even tell you if you haven't played it. You have to try it. So anyway, I hope some of the suggested mods we discussed here will encourage you to take another look at what I think is a super fun, classic roll and move. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content coming soon.